Kojima Productions Report. Very special session with
What is it, number
MacDonald.
48?
46, 48 maybe?
48, 47, somewhere around
it's
there.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
And
It is.
So we've got this kind of rapid fire questions.
It's going to be fast and furious. I think I can promise this will be the most edited Kojima Productions Report in its history, or hopefully beeped out. I think you should make creative use of beeping out.
I will.
Okay. You might have to beep my questions, and then definitely your
the
answers.
questions are safe, Mr. Mark MacDonald, by the way. Game videos.
Mark MacDonald, GameVideos.com, Ryan Payton. Your humble host.
Kojima Productions, your humble host. And we've got Shinta in the room. Shinta Nojiri.
Hi.
Jamming on Monster Hunter as he's wont to do. But so I have 3 difficulty levels I have chosen for you here, Ryan. And in the tradition of Metal Gear Solid 3 and also actually the Resident Evil remake, so there's Let's Have a Fun level.
Okay.
Or I Like to Take Short Walks, as it is also known as. Or you have Sweaty Exerjoyment, which is also known as I Enjoy Rock Climbing. Or you have the No Commento level, which is also known as Kojima-sama Kubi ni Shinai de Kudasai.
Or also known as European Extreme.
European Extreme, yeah. And that's Mr. Kojima, Please Don't Fire Me level.
Let's start off with the softballs.
Start off with the softballs. All right, lob right down the middle. So let's talk about the translation. What you're doing now, day to day. You're doing the voice work and stuff like that. So, can people expect similar to like in terms of translation quality, in terms of voice work? You also worked on MPO,
right?
On Metal Gear for the PSP. Something similar to that.
As far as the presentation,
as far as the everything.
Definitely. I mean, the best way to describe it is Metal Gear Solid 4 will be really what I've always wanted to do as an assistant producer on a title. I mean, this represents everything that I have got my wish list, and I've been able to check out almost everyone on this game. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Portable Ops, that was really like the testing ground, and that's where I learned everything. And it turned out great. There wasn't. I think almost every fan was satisfied with the way that the game turned out as far as localization and voiceover work was concerned, but it still didn't represent exactly what I wanted to do.
So you feel like this is going to be a step up?
Oh, totally. I can tell, and it feels so good. You know, when you go back to look at cutscenes from Metal Gear Solid 2 or even Metal Gear Solid 3, and it just reinforces it. Now, I'm not saying that was. The localization of the voiceover work was...
No, you're calling it crap. You're saying everyone that came before you is shit, and they sucked, and
exactly.
You're great.
I'm glad you're here, because you can tell listeners exactly what I'm thinking, what I really mean. But no, it just reinforces what I'm doing every time I look back at these cutscenes.
Because you're like, I hear this, and I would have changed it to
this line, every line here.
Okay, well that's cool. That's good to hear. So, are you guys going to be at E3?
That's a good question, and a question that honestly, that's a medium-sized question, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these are the easy questions, dude. You got to wait till you get to the medium ones. That's an easy one.
Are we going to be at E3 as of this recording? It's not decided. Honestly.
Okay. Fair enough.
Cross that one off.
What game besides Counter-Strike, and also I will not count Monster Hunter 2 as not an acceptable answer. What other game do you see people on the team playing these days?
Monster Hunter 2 doesn't count.
No. Because you see people playing that. I see people playing that right now. They aren't on the team, but yeah.
What games? We got a lot of Gra fans. Gra 2. There's a lot of copies of Gra 2 kind of circling around the studio, and a lot of people checking that out. Mm-hmm. What else? A lot of just like the rest of Japan. A lot of DS. You don't usually know what people are playing unless you ask them. You know, they're just hunched over their DSs.
Right.
I saw a lot of Professor Layton.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of a logic quiz game.
Right.
Yeah. Brain training.
But to be honest, this is just what happens when development gets tighter and tighter. Is that you just see less and less people playing games in their free time. They're sleeping, or they're trying to do anything else but be in front of the computer or be in front of a monitor. So I have noticed a drastic decline in like, recreational games, which kind of sucks.
All right, fair enough. All right, so sum up what it's like working at Kojima Productions in a word.
In a word?
In a word.
I need a good word for that, don't I? I was going to pick two for like.
Oh, all right. I'll let you have two.
No. I don't want to say stressful because that sounds negative. Pressure cooker.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's two words. I stole one, but it's definitely a pressure cooker where people are feeding off of the energy of other people around them, but there's also that stress that's driving a lot of this. A lot of creativity, a lot of like the production and the schedule. Mm-hmm.
So, along with that, like the biggest surprise about working at Kojima Productions. This doesn't have to be one word.
This doesn't have to be one word.
No.
But I can put in one word as
okay.
The ability of the staff, and this has nothing. This is nothing against Hideo Kojima, who I think is a brilliant, very creative person. However, he does have such a great staff that doesn't get in the spotlight, and if it wasn't for some of our programmers, our artists and scripters, I mean, these games could never be made. And, they're really the unsung heroes. And when we move forward for this 20th anniversary party, and we're looking at old tape that were recorded literally 20 years ago, like the first game, and everybody looks so young, and it's amazing to see. Yeah, these guys have stuck with the production for 20 years, and nobody knows their names except from the title credits. Kyle Cooper, title credits, and that's the only thing that they've gotten, even though like they're really the backbone of this game. And just thought it was a big surprise for me. Like especially if you go to another developer, you visit another developer, if you talk to people from other development teams, you can really see that these guys are super talented. And,
right.
It's cool. It's incredible.
And there's a lot of guys still around from that
definitely.
First game, from Metal Gear Solid 2, from 3.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's people who have moved on as well.
Right.
But I think generally speaking, I think we've been very lucky as far as people stuck with the series, and it's enticing. Guys will complain after MGS3 that was really a tough project, but like the lure of working on just 4 and
right.
the ideas that are going into it and doing it on PlayStation 3, I think it's just too much to let go of.
All right, we're into sweaty exerjoyment, so to speak.
I like rock climbing.
Yeah, I like rock climbing. Yeah. So we started to talk about this a little bit before, but a limited edition box of the anniversary. Like you talked on previous podcasts, like you'd like to do that for America. You don't know if you do that for America for the anniversary, but what about for MGS
and
Europe? All right, let's not forget Europe. I don't really care about Europe, but so what about MGS4? Like limited edition MGS4? What kind of extras are there? People with cameras around filming stuff that may or may not go into things?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
There are people filming things in the hopes that we can put together a making of, or some sort of special video that documents what the whole process.
So you said document, that kind of segues into the next question, which was
well, actually I wanted to kind of go back.
Go for it.
Go back a step, and I thought you
were go wherever you want
into the box set.
Yeah.
And this is a softball because I'm giving it to myself actually.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this earlier.
T-ball. Tee it off.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I've said this before that I don't profess myself to be a PR genius or even to really understand the world of PR, and I think I might have committed a PR crime a few weeks ago when I said that yes, the box set is coming out in Japan. I want to do it in Europe and the United States,
right,
and North America, but I don't know. I'm working on it every day, and I don't know if it's going to be able to come out.
Right.
And I looked at the comments from users, and after that, and one guy said, "Well, why doesn't Hideo want us to have the box set?" And it's just not that simple. And what I realized is I'm putting myself out there. Like I'm setting myself up for failure. If
right.
the box set doesn't come out by Christmas,
right.
people are going to blame me, and that's probably not good PR for the studio or for me. But I'm just being honest with listeners that yes, I'm working on it every day. Is there things that could prevent this thing from happening? Yes, absolutely. It comes down to dollars and cents. It comes down to production. It comes down to shipping.
If you had to put a percent chance on it happening, is it a coin flip right now?
I think anybody who knows PR right now is cringing. Ryan did not answer that question. But I can tell you there's a good chance.
Okay, well that's good stuff to hear. But so what about? So you said document. Right. So at TGS,
here you go.
Mr. Kojima with his his little radio show, right. He put out some stuff there to the Japanese audience, asking, so what would you like me to make? Which of the following things would you like me to do? And far and away, to not a few people's surprise, was the document of Metal Gear Solid 4. Actually, and he said whatever people voted for, he would make. Right.
Now, I might be wrong about this, but I think the list said, would you want me to remake, or what game, what would you want to... Yeah, it might have been the document of Metal Gear Solid 4, or it might have been document of Metal Gear Solid 2, and the users were trying to give us messages that they want that for MGS4. I can't remember which one was on the list.
Oh.
So, we could get out of it by remaking the document of MGS2.
No one's gonna remake the document of MGS2.
You know you want it on UMD.
Yeah, I must have completely misread that. But is there a chance of? I mean, in Japan there was a DVD set released after Metal Gear Solid 3 that was more than the document of Metal Gear Solid 3 almost. It didn't work the same way as the document of Metal Gear Solid 2, but it was had a speed run. It had the cinematic version of all of the cutscenes, all that kind of stuff. It came with a little Kubrick figure, right. Even. So stuff like that in the works for Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's not that I know of. I mean, we're focusing on making the actual game itself, as you can imagine it. But I know that Mr. Kojima's got that in the back of his mind that we did have that vote at TGS, and I know that he remembers that. But we'll see how it turns out, because I mean, if there's one thing we know about Hideo Kojima, he's not going to do something you expect. So, will we get the document of MGS4? That seems a little bit too. That seems like a softball, Like that
seems like retreading old ground.
Yeah, and it's not something that he's used to.
Interesting. So, what about? Let's talk about what we've seen so far, like what we've seen so far in trailers, not including, of course, the very first debut one, which was obviously just kind of
a lot of fun.
Yeah, just having fun with it. But so we've already seen that change a little bit from the very first time we saw that trailer to the sort of I don't know what you call it, remixed version of the trailer, but I mean the next version of the trailer. So how much of that, or maybe is all of that stuff that's verbatim in the final game as it appears in that trailer, or is any of it stuff that was just created for the trailer, or stuff that has changed since the trailer?
This is probably a no comment one.
Okay.
Is this a medium one?
That's a medium.
Are you kidding?
Why? Should that be a hard?
Should be in the hard ones.
See, some of these it's hard to say where they should fall exactly.
I'm gonna have a lot of problem when we get to the European Extreme.
I'm surprised that's the first no comment. That's cool good. Though. Yeah, no, you've done very well. You dance the dance well. So maybe a lot of these should be in hard. So we had a playable demo of Metal Gear Solid 1 and a playable demo of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Can I finish your question?
Sure.
Are we going to get a playable demo of Metal Gear Solid 4?
Sure.
Can you answer that for me?
No comment.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next one.
And I guess I don't need to ask if it's going to be downloadable or or on a disc.
Let's talk about that later, because I will have something to say about that.
Because there's a lot of rumors out there.
That's funny. Well, I mean, people have speculation, but to be honest, nothing's been decided. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can have rumors. A lot of there's no leaked information because nothing's been decided.
Interesting.
And that's something that I want you to take home to your boys at Ziff, particularly Mr. Shane Benthausen, who declares at times that he's gotten this secret information about Metal Gear Solid 4 exclusivity, and I can tell you that at the time that I heard him talk about that, he was sure that what he heard was this is canon, or this is legit. That absolutely nothing was decided, nothing was signed, no documents were signed. So whoever his source is, I'm telling you, Shane, through Mark and through this podcast, whoever your sources are, you cannot believe them anymore.
So, and you mentioned exclusivity, and like in a previous podcast, you seemed to stress, actually one with John and Hiroko, right. You seem to stress, like a couple of blogs picked up a previous podcast and seemed to take it as you stressing that it was PS3 exclusive, and you were stressing, no, I didn't say that.
Right. Well, I just wanted to address the specific comment that was in the Joystick article that said about the game being exclusive to PlayStation 3, as Konami stressed in their recent podcast, or something to that equivalent.
Right.
And which I didn't stress. You know, I just said I can't comment
but
on it.
It seemed like you going to lengths to say, no, I'm not. That was not what I was saying. I was not saying that this is PS3 exclusive.
Look, this is all part of a big conspiracy where I do not want to declare one way or the other. That's one of the reasons. Well, first of all, it's not my job. Second of all, I don't think this podcast is the forum for it. And thirdly, I don't want to screw up any negotiations or any business dealings that higher ups in Konami are working on. So that's the only reason I really went back to that comment. Is that look, I didn't really declare anything. And
all right, you choose your words very carefully.
I do.
After all, you're the guy who has final edit on the podcast, so
exactly.
Nothing comes out on accident. All right, so this might actually this is a softball, but it has kind of a medium follow up. Okay. So who's your favorite MGS2/4 character?
Can I choose like a minor character? Not
choose anybody you want.
Anybody I want. If I choose Stillman, people are going to think I'm stupid. I really like Stillman. I like Greg Eagles as a voice actor. Mm-hmm. I like that character. Mm-hmm. He brought something to the story that I thought was really necessary. This connection with New York. That's something that we strive. I know that this team strive for with Snake Eater. That to keep reminding this is supposed to be set in Russia, right? To bring that realism. And so Stillman had this backstory of being a cop in New York City, and that kind of brought things home. It kind of connected like the background with the event that was taking place on the plant. So that's my answer, I guess.
Okay.
But then I love Raiden as well, and I don't like Rose. I can go out and say that.
Oh shit! Well, you spoiled my next question. Yeah, which is going to be worst character in Metal Gear Solid history.
And that's something that as I consider Shane a very good friend. That's something I disagree with him on. In a recent podcast, he said that you kind of need one of those like the nagging characters or kind of annoying characters as well in a game.
Yeah, I think he said like the annoying something about annoying characters are great or something about that.
But I'm on the other side of the fence. I think that annoying characters have no place in any game, and I think Tim Schafer said something that to the equivalent of that too. Is that when you're creating a character, you want to be able to. You want this character to be on like a road trip with you, and you want to spend you want everybody in that team to be able to. You want to be able to spend time with them, as people. So, and I can go out and say that I don't think I want to spend any time with Rose.
King Kong or Godzilla over with Rose.
Yeah, over and over again.
Jesus. All right, now we might be segueing into hard territory. So this is like a challenge round thing.
Okay.
This is sum up the important parts, the takeaway elements, basically sum up the story as you need to know it from Metal Gear Solid 2. I don't know if you can do it in a minute or less. That was the original question.
Really?
But if you need 2 minutes or less, you can take it. Are you ready?
So sum up the story of MGS2 that you need to know when you're going into MGS4.
Right. And in doing that, basically explain the ending of MGS2.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I can give you pointers.
Why aren't you going to do it?
Because I can't explain the end. Nobody can explain the MGS.
Why not?
No, in a minute too. Can you imagine?
I'm giving you 2 minutes.
You couldn't.
You're telling me you can't tell me the end? Give me any video game. I can tell you the fucking end of that video game in 2 minutes. But this is not just
any video game. This is the most notorious ending of any video game.
But I can explain to you the end of RPGs. I can explain to you the end.
I can tell you the ending of an RPG. You know, usually it has to do with some kind of aura or some kind
crystal,
of spirit.
They found the crystal.
And
they found the fucking crystal, and yes, the final boss was like a kid who had a bad childhood or whatever. Shinta just destroyed the dragon.
Congratulations.
Yeah, nice work. But so you can't do it. You're not even going to try.
No.
Why don't you try? I was going to like time you and everything. You're not even going to try.
Maybe I'm obsessed with Shane, but I keep going back to Shane. Maybe this is something we could agree on. That's part of the reason why the game is so cool is because.
Oh, come on. You're not even going to fucking say that. No. Shane can't do it. I've already asked him to. But he at least admits that it's a fault in the game, that he can't do it.
Well, there are things that, to the game's credit, there are things that are cut at the very end.
Right.
Lots of things that are cut.
Yeah.
And some things in the middle of the game that were very sensitive at the time.
Right.
That were cut, and I think that it was a good decision at the time.
Which I would love to see, by the way, a fully restored director's cut version of Metal Gear Solid 2 as a lead into Metal Gear Solid 4.
As I would too.
Perhaps as some kind of pre-order bonus type of thing. But
as I would too. But
yeah.
You have to, something I want to stress to listeners too is that, I pushed very hard, and I think I've stepped on a couple toes in the studio when I said, look, people, you understand, times are different, times have changed. This isn't 2001 anymore. The Japanese are very, very cautious about this. They don't want to insult American gamers in any way, and they're very sensitive. And they don't want... And if there's any kind of friction or any kind of rebuttal against it, it's because they think that Americans are not ready for it. They're worried that they're not, and they don't want to see that backlash.
But you can say, hey...
Look, it's cool. People are not going to picket the offices of Konami America.
Right. And maybe it'd carry more weight if you were from New York.
Totally. I think... They moved to put on a New York accent.
You should maybe start wearing "I Love New York" T-shirts around the office. Yeah. Yankees hat at least. Yeah.
So.
All right, I was gonna do the big countdown and buzz you off and everything, but you're not even gonna step up.
I'm not even gonna step up.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we're into hard mode, no commento, into. Yeah, we're into the fun part of
nightmare mode
of the thing. I don't know. Maybe these are easy because some of the easier ones were harder than I thought. So, what about using home?
Oh, I don't know.
No idea. So, this is, I think, one of my last Metal Gear themed questions, and then we're getting into more general questions. So,
personal life.
Right. Exactly. Sex life, all that kind of stuff. So, what was your biggest worry about Metal Gear Solid 4?
Or what is mine?
What is your biggest worry? What would it be?
My biggest worry. That's an easy one. This should be on the top of your list.
Really?
Yeah. My biggest worry.
I'll have to think of a follow-up that makes it hard.
And this worry, this concern has nothing to do with anybody who would ever subscribe to this podcast because they've already passed the litmus test.
Mm-hmm.
And that they obviously have a passion for the series. My biggest concern is that the game and the mythos of Metal Gear is so dense that people who pick up Metal Gear Solid 4, perhaps they haven't played Metal Gear Solid since the first one on PlayStation, or they haven't played any Metal Gear Solid up until now, and they're not going to know why these characters are important and why there's so much drama taking place between certain characters. And I take it upon myself, and a lot of people in the team have done this as well, is that something that we need to really focus on is making sure that people are up to speed before they ever touch that controller. So whether it's through a pre-order bonus or through working with you guys like through the press, and informing, doing like a retrospective on MGS2, maybe something in print form, who knows, but there's something that we need to do to get people up to speed. And people who are excited about MGS4 can look at this and say, okay, this is the character Meryl, this is Ocelot has got Liquid's arm attached to his his arm, and this is why it makes sense. Or
well, you can't explain MGS2 ending in 2 minutes or less. So
that's why if we did it in print form, it would be about 200 pages.
It'd be a small novel. Yeah, it'd be like a John Grisham book.
But as Ryan O'Donnell was talking about, you definitely should go back and play MGS2 before you jump into 4 because you're going to get a lot more out of it.
Well, and it'd be especially great if there was like a director's cut of that version, like released with all that stuff that was cut out before it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that would be great. All right, so I think just to transition off the Metal Gear stuff. So Metal Gear so far has been a lot on the PSP. We've had Metal Gear Acid, we had Metal Gear Portable Ops, but like the DS is
digital
the thing.
Graphic novel.
The digital graphic novel, even. But the DS is the thing. The DS has just been selling like crazy. Mm-hmm. And, to a lesser extent, the Wii. But really, the DS. So, are there not these discussions within Kojima Productions like, hey, really, what is the reason? You mentioned before when we were talking like audio quality as being a big thing. But is there really like a holdup? Like, okay, this audience just really isn't. I mean, now kind of the DS audience is kind of everybody,
Right. I mean, it's hard to ignore like that huge market of
exactly
people who possess this hardware. So, yeah, obviously it's impossible to ignore. But on the other hand, I don't know if the Metal Gear experience is something that's built for the DS. The DS was designed to cater towards a different type of game, which Nintendo understands more than anybody else, and that's why they're having more success than anybody else.
That's true, but that said, Ninja Gaiden, I think, is opening a lot of people's eyes.
It's a bold step, but is it going to be successful? I don't know if I can say that. A lot of the press is excited about it, but if go back to Joe Schmo Gamer.
Yeah.
He goes to the game store. He looks at the back of the package. He's going to see PS1 level 3D, and I don't know if he's going to pick it up or not. Even if the gameplay's awesome, And I want to play it, but is it going to pick up and sell 500,000 copies? I don't know.
Interesting. And the Wii.
It's fun. I'll tell you what I think about the Wii. I want more games, and I want more epic games.
So who better? Like, I'm pointing my hand. The listeners can't see, but I'm pointing my hand at you. Like, okay, so
yeah. But
people want games like people like us. Yeah,
would you want a Metal Gear on Wii?
Well, like what kind of Metal Gear? Like, there's no reason why I wouldn't want a Metal Gear on Wii. I mean, it would have to be a Metal Gear adapted towards. It's just like saying, would you want a Resident Evil on GameCube? It's like, okay, well, like it's not what I typically think of as the audience for that type of game. Well, you have to think about it before you'd heard the other Resident Evils were going to be announced for GameCube.
No, not necessarily. I think when you say, Resident Evil on GameCube, you have two other hardwares that are very close in terms of hardware power.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I guess I could see it on GameCube, but Wii is a totally different story where you've got
okay, I'll give you
Xbox
that, but a PSP, okay, granted it's a portable system, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't get or even Game Boy Color was a different system. It's not a console, so you're used to thinking that it's okay. It's okay that it's kind of got a lower spec.
Right.
But I think there's no reason why a Metal Gear game can't work on Wii, especially if it's adapted and built from the ground up to work with Wii. Like, do I want to see Metal Gear Solid 3 on the Wii, readapted? No, not really.
Right.
Like, but would I want to see one built from the ground up for the Wii? Like, yeah, I want more Wii games.
Right.
Yeah.
As do I. And are there ways to approach the Wii hardware and make an epic Metal Gear game? I think so. You're gonna have to go towards down a very different route. And I mean, let's just say hypothetically we came out with another chapter in the Metal Gear, like an official game in the Metal Gear saga. It's going to have to have a very different visual appeal, I think, a very different visual aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like an Acid, like, I mean, a different side story, but some kind of,
something that still propels like gaming forward. Because I think if you put like a Metal Gear 5 on Wii, it doesn't seem like it would fit in with the series, because it's one of the hallmarks of the title has always been pushing hardware and pushing the highest spec hardware.
So you're saying you're not going the Dragon Quest route. You're not.
That would be
you don't
massive.
see Metal Gear Solid 5 for DS
that would be massive
in the future at all.
Oh, you never say never.
Well, speaking of the Wii, what can you say about the Kojima Suda 51 collaboration? And I only say Wii because Suda's a guy who's been...
He's the Wii man.
He's been, I mean, recently associated with GameCube and now the Wii, so...
Yeah, what can I say about it? I can say that the project is moving, but not as a video game, but as a radio drama. And Suda's writing the script for a prequel to Snatcher. And
I just like imagine, if you will, like an erect penis, and then just like it's shrinking.
What are you talking about? That sounds awesome.
As a radio drama.
Yes, as a Japanese radio drama. That's the Japanese part. That's what's kind of disappointing because I think I speak for everybody listening to this. We want the English version, right? Or would you not even want an English version?
Well, I think we don't want a radio drama.
Well, I think this is the first step, and this is something that Mr. Kojima's expressed that before jumping into the game, he's obviously very busy with MGS4. Rather than shifting focus to building a whole game on a very beloved franchise.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the radio drama and let's get this world of Snatcher kind of define some of the new rules of the game and add more to that foundation of this fictional world, and then we can start talking about making a game.
I
you
just
don't like it?
No, I think I'd rather. I don't know. I think I'd rather hear nothing and then just just see it. Yeah.
Mark MacDonald, big.
Well, I don't want to hear the Japanese. I don't want to hear that the Japanese are hearing radio drama details that I can't. And
no. Let's just imagine that I do get a budget and I can go to Hollywood and record the English version of it. Would you be interested in
Yeah, well now you're talking, right?
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So that's what I want. That's what I'm excited about. Is that chance?
Right.
The work pursuit on.
Well, while we're in Dream La La Land, why don't we say fuck, you got the budget to put out the Metal Gear Solid 4 1-to-1 replica Metal Gear, fucking packed in for $5 extra cost while we're in Dream World.
Is that on your list too?
Huh. Well, that's cool. So what about hardware sales? I actually do have a question here. Is that something that you guys talk about? Do you guys see the NPDs? Are people like, hey, we talked about the DS getting a lot of numbers, like PS3 kind of flatlining. Is that something that people do notice around the office?
How can you not notice?
Right.
When you look at the sales figures, but you still have to stay the course. And if we were making this game for the Phantom, or for an unproven console, and not
you had to choose the Phantom just to completely throw anybody off course from reading into what you're saying.
If we're putting this on the N-Gage or
right.
even the Dreamcast,
yeah,
there's reason to worry, but we're putting this game on the follow-up to arguably the most successful console in history.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think we're cool.
All right, last question.
Okay.
So, what's something people don't know about Hideo Kojima? Give me something good.
Oh.
Something that he's really like.
I'm going to change the question around. This is something that most press don't really know, but his speaking ability of English is not, I wouldn't say very good, but his listening ability is better than you think. And so, even if he doesn't respond to the jokes or whatever when press are interviewing him, he usually understands what's going on. And so I think it has a lot to do with a lot of the movies that he watches. And
so he's quietly judging us. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So you think that the translator is going to filter all the criticism? No.
All right. Well, good to know. All right. So
does that wrap up your questions?
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mark
So
MacDonald?
he's quietly judging us the entire time. That's what you're saying.
That's the message you take.
And when
home.
he's not laughing at our jokes, it's not because he doesn't understand. It's just because they're not funny.
Yeah. They're like, damn American jokes. I'll never get them.
He hears everything we say about Metal Gear Solid 2, and yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
That's a pro tip for you.
Okay, that is a pro tip. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's it. That wraps up my questions. There were very few
that
comments.
Wasn't too hard.
Really?
I think I approached it, as honestly and as upfront as I could.
Right. Well, we'll see when I hear the edited version of this,
20-minute version.
How hard it was. Just so you know, all the really hard questions Ryan edited out of this. So, yeah.
Well, as we wrap up the show, I just want to say thanks to you, Mark, because not only have you provided me with 3 episodes of great content, but but you've brought in a really cool element to the program where we can really talk openly about the series with somebody who really is passionate about it. But as you said, tough love, and you're still critical about it, and that's not something that I wanted this podcast to turn into as a PR mouthpiece. So,
no question.
And I wish you a safe voyage home tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
To San Francisco.
Yes.
And I don't know when I'm going to be back there.
Hopefully soon.
But definitely, I'd love to have you on the program again. When we have the
anytime. We'll see how what the fans think, though. They might be sick of me by now.
That's a really good idea. I'm going to kind of base it on the reaction. So this might be the last one.
It might be. If it is, goodbye, sayonara. Nice meeting you, fans, and Shinta. I might not ever see you again if the fans don't like me. So.
Well, and thanks to you, Shinta, for joining us too.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you all.
You finally put down Monster Hunter. Or are you playing the cell phone version now?
I finished the game. I defeat the monster.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Bye.